founder of United Latinas, and she builds leaders and amplifies unheard voices. Ilhiana, welcome to Diversity Matters. We're thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored, grateful, and excited to be here, Teresa. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here and to share, this wonderful conversation with your audience.
And one of the things that, for those that might see and look and feel like she looks a little familiar, we did have Ileana featured on our Women Who Lead series, but I felt like I wanted to dig deeper into the organization that she runs, a little bit more of the work that they do. And so that's why I felt it was really important for us to kind of also feature this organization as well as Ileana on Diversity Matters. So one of the things that I always want to hear about, is take us to the moment that United Latinas was born. When did it become real for you? Where were you and what made you say, this is it? We're going to start this organization. It's important. We really want to do something where we're uniting Latinas across the country. What was it? And take us a little bit to that moment.
Absolutely. Well, I have to give the credit to Sandra Noemi Torres, who was the one that originally founded in 2018 in Florida. At the time, I didn't know Sandra. I was on my own discovery journey where I just came to realize after 20 plus years in corporate that I was a Latina. I didn't know that I was a Latina or what that meant until I left corporate and it just hit me that not only that what it meant to be a Latina, but it hit me that I didn't have a community. That all the network that I had gone the moment that I stepped out of corporate, and there was nobody like me in any type of way. And that's what led me to search for where are all the Latinas in this, in my space. And that's when I found Sandra Nomey Torres via LinkedIn. Actually, we connected at the time COVID started to hit. So all the efforts that United Latinas was having locally in Florida went away because it was just local events. So she and I started to do things virtually, virtual conferences, just as a side, like, well, we just want this sense of community, but I have my company. She had her company at the time. So this was the little side project, just not to feel alone during a time where many of us were very alone. And then 3 years ago, we realized it had started to grow into something that we didn't really imagine. And that's when we decided, this is real. People need this community, not only us. Many of us are the only ones in our spaces, despite being 10%, Latinas being 10% of the US population. Many of us are just on our own. And the sense of community was clearly something that was needed. So that's when we decided to formalize the organization and make it literally a second job, and create a legacy, a long lasting legacy, not only because we needed it, but because we saw the need with other Latinas. And then I have two kids, and I was like, I need to do it because I need to leave something behind where they can feel seen, they can feel heard, understood, and not alone.
Well, first of all, the fact that you said that you didn't even know you were Latina, right? Um, that kind of resonates with so many of the people
Yes.
that across the country, and even myself. I always knew that. So for me, what I mean is like finding my identity, and also I remember one time when I joined the Georgia Hispanic Chamber, and I think you've heard a little bit of that story. My husband, who encouraged me, to join the chamber, but initially was like, "Well, are you really Latina?" I'm like, "Oh my God, Mike, are you serious?" Yes, I am a Latina, because we ingrain ourselves into our, the culture, because we do want to acclimate and we do want to become part of the mainstream of the US, and that's really important. But we also want to save that heritage that makes us unique and creates who we are, and also give voice, as you say, to the the past, to the heritage of our families, the immigrant stories that are so important for us, who made us who we are as well. So, so I love that you said that because I think a lot of our viewers, whether they're Latinas, whether they're coming from other immigrant backgrounds, may not until day go, wait a minute, this is my background and I'm proud of it, right?
And
Um,
And very importantly, sorry to interrupt, very
no,
importantly, what it means to each of us, right? Because it's about the heritage, it's about the background, the lived experience. But to me, the most important thing is our values and recognize the way those values impact the decisions that we make, impact the way that we go about the world. And when I say I didn't know that I was a Latina in the corporate space, was recognizing that the way that I made decisions sometimes was counter to what others' expectations were of success, right? So, me assimilating to those different expectations were not aligning with my values. And that caused an inner struggle. And many of us, to your point, go sometimes through those inner struggles where we're not finding, like, we can't put a finger on what it is that's causing it. But once we understand that it's due to our identity, is due to our values, and how they are so important to us, that they may be different to the spaces that we're in, then we can start to embrace, we can start to shine, we can start to truly, that's where the authenticity, like people saying, I'm going to be able to be authentic in this space, comes from, because now we understand the role and the implications of those values, right? And
there's
how
like a
they,
breakthrough moment where
there's
you're
the
like,
breakthrough, absolutely.
right? So I know one of the things that we always look at when I ask people is tell me, because it's so important to know. We all are scared. We're all scared to do things. We're all scared to make changes or to ask for things. And that's the biggest, to me, the biggest tough. Gosh, I want to ask this phenomenal person to be on the Women Who Lead show, but I'm scared they're going to say no. But what's the bravest yes or no you've made in the last 2 years? And how did it change the direction of whether it was United Latinas or your own direction?
I have a long list, but I think the biggest things that we've been going through, me personally, and then through United Latinas this year, is doubling down on our efforts of being Latina, right? It's a world that right now, especially in the U.S., has been, there's it's very targeted. It's very targeted towards our community. And many, unfortunately, for a lot of different reasons, have had to pull back, have had to eliminate, certain things about themselves, about their vocabulary, or hide them because for safety reasons or for many other reasons. And in our case, I've been personally asked many times, like, are you pulling back? Are you pulling back, as Ilhiana, saying front and center, I'm elevating the voices of Latinas. I am a proud Latina, right? And also from a United Latinas perspective, like, are we continuing down that path because we're Latinas, right? So when in all these spaces that we're in, there's no hiding it. Like, this is who we are. And so we have been faced with those moments of, do we pull back? And every time, and as time goes by, I've reconfirmed, no, we're doubling down. We're doubling down our efforts, we're doubling down our presence, we're doubling down, what we have to say, because many others, unfortunately, for many reasons, have had to, go silent or are being forced to be silent. And for me, I still have the ability and have the platform to elevate my voice. So I'm now using my voice to be able to Now double the echo to other people's voices and other communities' voices that don't have that ability, don't have that capacity right now. So I feel now it's our responsibility, and I personally feel it's my responsibility to use my voice to be the echo to those voices in spaces where it's currently not welcome. But I know that at least I'm pushing through and can do that. So it's a constant, the yes or no and the brave. It's a constant thing. And to what you were saying earlier, the fear is there. The fear is always there, and now it's like a physical,
Worse.
sometimes
Yes.
fear. You never know, right? Leaving the country, coming
Right.
back to the country,
Retaliation will
traveling,
be, yes.
being in different
Yes.
locations where you know that you are very easily targeted. Um, and it is like, oh my God, I have a family to think of. I have my kids, but at this moment in time, I can't go down. I can't stay silent, for not only for myself, but for this community. And I hope to continue to do that, for the rest of the year and the rest of next year and whatever, life throws at us.
I think that's beautiful. And I think it's so true that there are so many of us that you're feeling that anxiety of not being able to speak up because they're scared, of what might happen to them, right? If they do. And so I love that you're doubling down, that you're not walking away, that you're saying, no, this isn't so important for us to stand up and stand arm to arm, right? With our women who are wanting to voice their own, right? So I really, really appreciate that answer, right? I know that we talked about voice, which you just kind of a little bit, and this is your personal brand. So we want to make a differentiation, but I wanted to bring it up because I love it so much, which, you talk about there is a significant with each of the letters of voice. So
Yep.
I want you to talk about that real quick and letter which letter of voice is your growth focused on right now and why?
Yes, absolutely. And VOICE is an acronym for a program that I have. It's a program that has been going on now for 5 years. I just hadn't called it VOICE. This year I decided, okay, this is what I'm doing. So now this is the I've baptized it, right? Like this is VOICE. And each step is critically important in helping, people, teams, organizations, groups to be able to find their voice, identify their voice, ignite their voice, and then be able to now put it out there and create a network so that they become the echo to their voice. And it's taking people through that journey of self-advocacy and advocacy, depending on where you are. And in that process, to me, the one that I love to do the most is the O of voice, which has to do with owning your worth, because that is the foundation and that is where transformation happens. And as somebody who in my career and in my life, I've lost my voice several times. I've lost myself and who I was and what am I doing here many times. I see that as the moment where we become proud, we connect with truly who we are, with the values that we were talking about, the purpose that we are here on earth to do, our mission, our legacy, and how we're transforming the world to leave it better than we found it. Oh, is the moment that all of that clicks. That moment that we say, oh, I get it. I sort of knew it. I sort of know it because we all know. We just cannot put our finger to it. And going through the program, O is the moment when it clicks. It's like clarity of, yes, that's when I realized that my purpose and my mission was to elevate unheard voices. And now everything is aligned in doing that, right? For other people, it has been bringing order to chaos and so and so. So O is that moment where you take control of your story, you take control of your narrative, you take control of your worth, and therefore it becomes the foundation of who you are. And now you can stand proud. Now you can stand in confidence of saying, this is why I'm here. This is why I can serve you. This is the value that I'm going to bring to the table. And this is why I'm going to take a seat at the table, excuse me, because you need me. So transformation happens in the O. And I love to see that again and again and again happen with the people that I work with, either individuals, leaders, teams, whoever it is.
Well, there's a saying that once you know the why, the how
Yes.
becomes easy because
Yes.
the why is the everything. Why am I doing? Oh, how am I going to do it? That's easy because I got my why. I got my why. So I love that you're owning your O and your self-worth. That's really, really brilliant. One thing that I love about United Latinas, above all, you do so many things, but you've got a speaker circle, which really kind of elevates those individuals who have never felt like they or don't know, or have that fear of getting in front of a stage or an audience to speak, right? Then you also have your book, helping that women tell their stories. But tell me about the speaker story circle, and has there ever been a story of a transformative win that started there?
Absolutely. And Speaker Circle started as us identifying and recognizing not only from our own journeys, but from all the Latinas that we tap into, recognizing that public speaking is one of those skills that nobody taps into, but they can become a critical component to stepping into the next level, whatever that next level is, right? As a business owner, as a career professional, as wherever you are. And research shows that speaking in public, people are so afraid of it that sometimes they're even more afraid of it than death itself. Like it's the fear is so bad of just putting yourself out there. And it's not necessarily on the stage, right? It can be presenting in front of five people in a meeting, or taking, standing up to say, hey, I think about this, or I want to share this expression. All of that is speaking in public. And doing that is very terrifying for the majority of people. And for Latinas, it has become a significant barrier for Latinas to shine, right? There's the calladita te ves más bonita, like we just do our work and hope that our work speaks for us so that we don't have to speak about the amazingness that we do, or we hope that others are going to speak for us, but we don't do a good job at doing that because people are going to feel that we are bragging, or people are going to feel that I'm, saying bringing the spotlight to me when I should be sharing the spotlight with others. There's all of these limiting beliefs that happen. Some of them were conscious, some of them were not conscious, but the reality is that speaking in public is a big barrier to Latinas growth. So we decided to focus our efforts at United Latinas and then developing that skill set. And the speaker circle has become a very safe way to do that. We meet every month in a safe space with a group of Latinas on Zoom. Anybody can join. And be a part of this journey. And we take them through exercises that where they can realize that you already have the public speaking skill within you. You just have never exercised it, right? Somebody needs to take you and share with you, how do you breathe? How do you come up with words? How do you, come up with a message? Like all of those things. But it's a skill that you can learn like many other skills. It's a communication skill. So when somebody takes you by the hand and shares all of these moments, shares all of these tips and tricks and strategies, now you start gaining more of that confidence to be able to speak in public. And the speaker circles does that, and also does that in a safe way that people, can feel that they can start doing it. And I have so many stories of Latinas that started with us 2 years ago when Speaker Circle started, and they wouldn't even like turn the cameras on Zoom, because these are on Zoom, right? They wouldn't even turn the cameras on because you're so like afraid of all of these things. And today, many of them are in stages doing, conferences, TEDx talks. They've been presenting, they've become thought leaders. And just from that recognizing that they have this space that encouraged them, that said you can, and just feeling, oh, I can actually do that. So it's one of the things that I love the most about the speaker circle. And it's not the only thing that we do at United Latinas to create spaces for people to speak, but it's seeing them shine. It's just so heartwarming.
Oh my God, I love that because that is truly an art, right? And even, I've read books and books. There's one book, and it just cannot, it does not come top of mind of it, but it talks about the fact that the storytelling aspect, the ability to express your thought on stage, whether it's in front of a couple people or, 5,000, is so critical, especially where you've got a brand new idea or, a new technology that your company is introducing, that weighs higher on a company's ability to elevate you than any other skill set. So I think that's really an important skill set that you're teaching because it really does make a difference, especially if you're wanting to elevate your own role within an organization. So thank you for doing
Absolutely.
that. I love that.
Absolutely. And it's not only about the teaching, it's about the creating spaces where you can practice it, right?
Yes,
Because you can go and
yes.
you can like read a book, or you can take a webinar somewhere. But if you don't have the space to be able to practice it, and in a safe way, in a way that you
Where
feel
others are
safe,
with you,
that
right?
people,
Where, yes.
yeah, that others are encouraging you, that's the importance of all of these different things that we do at United
I would
Latinas,
love to
so that you
sneak
can
in one of your
consistently
sessions
practice and get better at it.
to see, that's awesome. I think that's amazing. So beautiful, beautiful. So one of the things that you also talk about, there are so many misconceptions about, advancing, in the space of Latinas. What's the biggest misconception, and what practical lever actually creates opportunity for us in a corporate environment or in a situation where you're wanting to step onto a board, uh, you know, what would create that opportunity for someone where there might be a misconception of that individual?
Absolutely. And you said it. There's unfortunately there's a long list, right? Capabilities, capacity, language barriers, and we could go on and on and on. And I work with a lot of amazing Latina leaders on many of these. But the one that I see that consistently makes a difference is the difference between we and I. And let me explain what that means. We are a community, the majority of us, that we value we value family as one of the most important values that we bring together. We value community as one of those top, values. And therefore, in a lot of the way that we speak in we, right? Even if we are talking about, I'm talking about my accomplishments, what I'm doing, I still will talk in we. And to this day, I still need to switch,
We.
because I keep saying we, or I catch myself writing emails where I'm just making a recommendation or a statement, and I still catch myself saying, we are recommending this. And I'm like, who's we? Like, it's just me. Like, why am I saying we? Right? But because that becomes is critically ingrained into many of us and who we are, we don't talk about I. And therefore, that doesn't show the assertiveness that is needed for people to then see that we have everything that it takes to be able to get to those next levels, right? To be a leader, to be an influencer, to create grander impact, because by saying we all the time, or not taking the credit for things and saying, my team and I, we did all of this, we are not showing that assertiveness to be able to change that perception from others on the worth that we bring to the table. So it's finding that fine balance in between being assertive and putting ourselves out there and saying I, and doing it in a way that feels authentic, but still maintaining the fine balance of bringing others along, of giving, granting contribution where it's needed, right? Saying, yes, I did this, I thought about this, or this is what I'm bringing, and here's the team that helped me or let me open the space for this other people. So finding that fine balance becomes critically important, and it's not an easy thing to do. And for each of us, it's different depending on who we are and our style and our leadership and all of that. But I've seen that once people are able, and especially Latinas, are able to find that fine balance, then, oh my God, there really is no stopping. Because now there are those, change makers, there's the trailblazers that are breaking barriers, that are breaking glass ceilings, and then they're bringing everybody else along. But people see them as that thought and tough leader that is admired. So
Such a critical
that
piece,
is
right?
to me, I think, the turning point.
With a word, we or I, right? Because it is so true. And I think it's the ego, the idea that we might have an ego or we might be considered arrogant by saying that, which is what our families kind of, oh, mijita, that's not cool because you're, coming across as, arrogante, that that is really, really important. And the difference that a lot of, other individuals have that we sometimes struggle with. So I love that you mentioned that and how important it is for us to really take credit where credit is due, right? For the work that we've actually been able to create ourselves. And we do. It's funny because I do that too. I will say we, and they're like, well, how many on your team? Well, it's just me. I'm like, well, like, again, really important that we acknowledge the contributions that we are doing ourselves. All right. So when we talk about, and this is a big one because a lot of people don't realize that there is a difference between someone who is mentoring someone and someone who's actually sponsoring someone. And or there are people that really do a job. And I will tell you, my CEO Gino Blafari, who I absolutely credit a lot of the reasons that I'm in the role I am today, was a sponsor for me. He actually opened the door and said, I'm going to recommend you and I'm going to bring you up he did all that for me. So when did you first feel the difference? And what's your best advice for turning a mentor into a sponsor, someone that's actually elevating other people into roles where they're actually making a difference for that individual?
And I love this question because it is critically important, especially as Latinas and as women, right? That we understand this. It's not something that we naturally do. Mentorship, just mentorship in
In
general, it's
general.
not rooted in how we're brought up. So even that needs to change. But there is a study that says that the many Latinas are mentored, but they're not sponsored. And that is really where those doors that get open, those opportunities that come through, can make a difference. And what I've experienced and what I've seen is the change happens that in mentorship we hear. right? The mentor is giving us advice, is sharing from their own story, is telling us, is asking us like questions, but it's about them planning out and panning out what the future could look like, or sharing their own experiences and their own, best practices. But we just hear, which is amazing because then we're able to hear this wealth of insights that we can then apply. The turning point is when now we start sharing about ourselves. We start sharing our accomplishments. We start sharing our fears. We start sharing our growth. We start sharing our skill set, our talents, the vision that we are seeing for certain things, the innovation, the creativity. When we start talking about ourselves to those mentors, then sponsorship can happen because now they have an idea, a really good idea, so that they can become the echo to whatever it is that we're sharing, right? They now have the information to be able to bring it up in other spaces. And when an opportunity comes up, they can now say, full on, oh, I know the perfect person that can do that because they've accomplished this, they've done this, they have this, they're the perfect fit for this role or for this, whatever initiative or whatever it is, because now they have the information. And going back to the we versus I conversation, we don't do that a lot. We tend to hear, but we don't tend to share because maybe it feels like bragging, or maybe we don't know how to share it. We accomplish things every week and we just like, yes, we accomplished it and then move on. We don't celebrate those accomplishments enough. And that's what can make a difference between somebody just coming in and mentoring and giving you advice because they want, to see you shine, to truly knowing how to advocate for you because now they have the elements. And I've lived through this myself. I have a lot of people that I mentor that reach out to me for advice, and I'm always an open door. Like anything that I can share, I will share. I will share salaries. I will share anything. Like I really don't have an issue sharing a lot of things. And but I don't hear a lot of people telling me, even if I ask, like, how can I help you?
This
Then
is
the
how I
struggle
want it.
comes
This is
up,
what,
right?
yeah,
And then I don't know how can I elevate your
yeah,
voice? I've
yeah,
learned now more and more to be able to pull that information, but I'm doing it, but not a lot of people do that because there isn't enough time.
yeah.
So it's on us to make that shift in terms of not only hearing the advice, but advocating for ourselves, elevating our voice with those mentors so that then they can turn into
I
sponsors.
love that you're giving this advice because I think it's important for people, especially our audiences, to understand what you need to do so that someone else can actually help you get to where you need to be. But I think another important part is that you also need to let people know where do you want to go? Like, I really would love to do this. How do I get there? What are the steps that I need to take? And if you know someone that can help me, would you refer me to? Because I think sometimes we, want to be tapped on the shoulder. No one's tapping you. You have got to express your need or wants and desires as to where you want to be so that people can get you there, faster and quicker, right? Ilhiana, I think that's really important too. You got to let people know, and you got to listen with your ears and open heart, and not take any negativity like, oh, I'm not, well, you're not quite ready yet. Let's get you, here's what I would recommend that you do to get there. And say, okay, I saw the NASA astronaut, the Latino, astronaut talk about the
Yes.
fact that he was rejected 12 times before he was, admitted into NASA space program. 12 times. And
Yes.
yet he still kept applying because he would see that, well, one recommendation is that he take scuba diving lessons. And he would do it because he knew, hey, okay, I'll do it. Whatever it takes, I'm in it because this is my dream and this is where I want to be. So love it, love it, love it. All right. So legacy. One of the things that I also want to hear about is this wonderful, extraordinary Latinas Awards, that you are doing now. What vision sparked the awards? And I heard you've a lot of individuals that have been recommended and honorees selected. And how do you ensure that you're picking the right individual to name for these individual awards that you give out every year, based on the number of applicants that you receive?
Absolutely. The Extraordinary Latina Awards, this is our fourth year. And it started obviously 4 years ago, again with this thing of how do we use our platform to elevate other Latinas, right? Give them visibility because like we've talked about, we don't do a good job at doing giving visibility to ourselves. So as United Latinas, we can do that, right? We can elevate others. So that's how it started. And the first year we had a very small group of people that signed up and that nominated themselves or nominated somebody else. And then the second year it doubled, which was really good, but it was still a small group of Latinas. This year we have over
Wow.
450 nominations, which is like
Unheard of. Wow.
just that in itself, it's amazing because anybody that got nominated in any of our categories, and this year also we started with the top 50. So we have three categories. And in addition, this year we added a new one, which was the top 50 over 50, because there's those of us that continue to
That's
shine
right.
even after, right? We still are bringing legacy and impact to this world. And anybody that got nominated got a graphic that
Right.
they can then reshare with others because just being nominated, to me, I think it's an honor, right?
Right.
Because it's somebody's recognition of our work and it's a way to be able to find your voice and be able to put it out there. And just that effort in itself, we've heard of so many people sending notes of gratitude like, oh my God, I never really realized all these people that say all these beautiful things about me, and it's put them in a spotlight that they would have otherwise not been able to be, right? So just the nomination per se has done amazing things for these all of these women. Now the work is to narrow it down to in the case of the top 50 to 50 Latinas, right? We have over 100 Latinas in that list in itself. And then for the Extraordinary Latina Awards, we come to nine, three for each of the categories. So it's a titanic effort of reading through all of the amazing, nominations, all the great work. To me, it just fills my heart to know that all of these women are out there doing incredible things. All of them should win the awards, right? But like I said, just the nomination, I hope that it's giving them that spotlight. And we have a committee that goes through them. We have criteria that is set to be able to identify who should have it. And we're right now actually this week in the final reading moments and figuring things out moment because the winners are going to be spotlighted next week in our Hispanic Heritage Month conference on October 1st. It's going to be virtual, so anybody can join. And if you were nominated, you'll be able to find out if you won in that conference. And then we're also doing this year a magazine. It's the first year that we're doing a magazine. This is a special edition magazine because magazines, it's not our thing, but we know that this is important to spotlight. So all top 50 will be highlighted in the magazine, plus the nine winners of Extraordinary Latina Awards. And that magazine will be launched mid-October to give like a second halo,
Recognition.
effect of
Obviously,
of
yes.
spotlights
Yes.
and be able to create that. So there's all of these different elements of how we are gonna do this, but we're just so excited and so thrilled to be able to create this spotlight, especially in a year, like I said, where it's very needed, and we know that many unfortunately cannot do it on their own for a lot of reasons, but we can, so
That's
we're
right.
doing it, and we hope to elevate them
I
in
think
that
this is
way.
beautiful, and I really do have to give a shout out to Magda Isola, who did nominate
Yeah.
me. And
Yes.
I really am just honored and very just, humbled with the nomination. So again, I think it's a beautiful way to really honor those that do great work in their community. That because they're from all levels, that are involved in their community, they're all in their companies and involved in doing so much great work across the country. And I don't know if you do international too, but phenomenal. I mean, amazing, amazing individuals. I've seen them, all through LinkedIn posts, and I'm like, wow, this person's so amazing. I didn't know them. So just getting to know all those leaders that, we don't necessarily get in front of is also a great thing as well. So thank you for doing
Absolutely.
this.
Absolutely. And next year, we do them every year. So stay on the lookout because next year we normally start around July to put nominations out there. So if you did not self-nominate or did you not get nominated this year, you can always do it next year.
You can
So
do it
we want
next
to
year for all of those.
do it
Yes.
bigger. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Perfect. Great opportunity to those mentors out there that know you've got some great Latinas that you want to also nominate. This is the greatest opportunity to do so, to recognize their contributions as well. All right. So as we kind of wrap up, we've got just a couple more questions. So what single action do you want our audience to take this week? Let's say this week, to elevate a Latina leader, and how can we measure that, success?
I would say it's actually a twofold single action. One is reach out to somebody. Reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, that there's some connection with them, and just check in, right? Everybody right now is going through a lot of turmoil, a lot of change. Many of us are showing ourselves like this, but inside we are like this.
Yes.
So reach out to somebody and just check in with them. How are they doing? What do they need? Sometimes just having a conversation can make a significant difference in somebody's lives, because we don't know what they're going through. So just reach out to anybody, one person, and then ask them, how can I help you? Right? How can I be of service to you? How can I elevate your voice? How can I connect you with somebody else? Or how can I just hold space for you? To me, I that the ripple effects of that, we don't even know what that where that can take us. I've been doing that, for the last 3 months. I just talked to somebody else that was doing that as well, and it was amazing. And the stories of just people, coming out and saying thank you so much for reaching out and for having this conversation, because I was going through a very, very difficult time and I didn't know who to talk to. So just knowing that we can talk to somebody else in a safe way right now can be a critical component. And so that would be the thing that I would encourage everybody to do.
I love it because the impact of that one call, there are times people have called me where I'm like, oh my God, thank you for calling me. It's been so long that we've not connected. And your call just meant so much to me because I was actually
Yeah.
struggling with something, and, the space, I guess the universe knew that. And having you call me really has made a big impact. There's no doubt that that will make a difference in someone's life. So, I really love that answer, and all that you've shared with us about the organization, about the work that United Latinas is doing, but also about the work you're doing, Ilhiana. You're very impressive with the background, with your own company, and with all the fact that you are traveling and kind of juggling this organization, which is, by the way, nonprofit, which is, handling your volunteering, all, your work, your time to elevate women, but then you also have your business that you're operating on the side. So thank you. Thank you for doing that because we really need it. And we need people like you to help Latinas elevate.
Thank you. Thank you so much, really, for creating this space. I couldn't be more grateful for you to sharing your space so that I can share my voice in it.
All right, so we always end with something fun, a way to just kind of, chill. And I love to do those rapid fire fun questions. And this is going to be easy. We'll start off with leadership in one word.
Courage.
Love that. Your pre-stage ritual or go-to power song.
Um, oh my God. Power song. Anything that's in Spanish. It just reconnects me with, it reminds me who I am and where I come from.
Carlos
Um,
Vives for me. Anytime I hear Carlos Vives, I'm like, yay. Barranquillero, Vallenato. That's where my family's from, Barranquilla, that the coastal region of Colombia. So I love it. Where are you from? What I meant to ask you, where are you from? What's your family?
I'm from Mexico, Mexico City.
Ghana.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mexico City,
No,
Mexicana de corazón.
I love the mariachis. My mom always loved mariachis too.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So a Spanish or Spanglish phrase you love and why it sticks.
Oh my God. Actually, I use the calladita te ves más bonita,
This, I love
which
that.
I should like find a positive turn on it, but I think it helps us reconnect with something that we need to change. And it reminds me that I can't be calladita anymore because of everything that we've talked about, because it's still ingrained in everything in, very deep. So I need to battle with that as well.
And that, for those that don't know, that means quietly you look prettier, right? When you're quiet, you look prettier, right?
Yes,
Right?
yes, yes.
So, one Latina owned brand or creator you want everyone to follow today.
Oh my God, Sandra Velasquez from Nopalera. Her products, her beauty products are spectacular, are amazing. She actually just got into Ulta in Mexico, which is gonna then also, and she's here in the US, which is gonna now take her brand to the next level. So always support Latinas because we all need it, right? It's gonna get us into a better world. So definitely support Sandra.
I love it. Empanadas or taquitos? I know the answer is going to be.
Taquitos. Taquitos all the way. I
Yes.
mean, I love empanadas, don't get me wrong. But if I have to
You
choose, taquitos will
you got to
always be
have your
the case.
taquitos, right?
Yes.
Bad Bunny or Carol G?
Carol G. I know, I know. I mean, and nothing against, I love Bad Bunny as
Me
well,
too.
but
Carol
Carol
G,
G.
mijita.
Yes. Carol
¿Café
G.
con leche o un cafecito negro?
Café con leche. And actually, té.
Oh, do you like that?
More,
Okay. And
yeah,
then last
yeah.
one, heels or sneakers when you're on stage?
Heels. All the
Heels.
time.
Yes, I
Heels.
saw that.
I don't have sneaker. I do have sneakers, but I almost don't use them. And
I
my
saw that.
sneakers have platforms, so
Yes.
heels
You wear
all the
those
time.
big, I don't know how you do it, but yes, I
Yes.
love it. Well, I really love your answers. I love spending this time with you so much, Ileana. It was great. Thank you for sharing the mission and the momentum behind United Latinas and for the practical way that the leaders and allies can convert support into real opportunities. I really do appreciate it. To our audiences today, if this great conversation sparked action, tag us with Diversity Matters series and United Latinas, right? That's where you can tag us. Tell us, how can people find out more about the organization? Ileana, what's the website?
Absolutely. It's very easy. It's unitedlatinas.com. That's where you can find us. Me, you can find on LinkedIn, Ilhiana Rojas, or you can find me on my website, ilianarojas.com. And then if you want to know more about the books, because I do want to do that plug of Extraordinary Latinas, that's extraordinarylatinas.com as well. So we're here in any different space and platform.
So you heard it here first. That's where you can access all of these great, phenomenal leaders, especially with United Latinas. And before we go and leave today, I want to make sure you mark your calendars for our next Diversity Matters, which is going to take place on Wednesday, October 22nd. And before we go, thank you all for joining us. And we'll see you next time on Diversity Matters. Bye bye, everyone. Thanks, Ileana.
Thank you. Have a great one.